Q&A, but we'll save questions to the end. But if you just move the chat to the back, or just hit the 3 arrows there, it will do full screen. So you'll be able to see the full screen. So can you guys see the screen okay? And you also see the 2 arrows above on the chat section. So just click those and that will close or minimize that chat box, and you can always go back to it. Okay, just going to leave a couple more seconds and then we'll get going. Again, thank you all for joining today. Super, super excited about walking you through the material. And we'll get officially started here in a sec. All right, it's 5 after. Let's get started. Welcome, everyone. This is the PMO Lifecycle, building, running, and shutting down, building PMO dashboards and reports. So thank you all for joining today. Super, super excited because you'll see both of my books, and this is the first presentation where I'm taking materials from both of my books. And so I'm excited to show you that. For folks that haven't met me, my name is Bill Dow. I have 28 years of experience in the PMO and project management world. 14 years at Microsoft. I've been a presenter for multiple years since 2008 at PMO symposiums. I just got back from London where I presented at the PMO conference, Project Summit World, multiple PMI events, been on the radio, and I'm a 4-time author. So the PMO Lifecycle, we cover that material today. Project Management Communication Tools, we cover that material today. Tactical Guide for Building PMO, and then back in 2008, the Project Management Communication Bible. So super, super excited again, like I said, to show you the material. So here's our agenda. We have 6 items. We'll talk about today the problem with dashboards, PMO reporting in the dashboards today. We'll look at today's dashboards. We'll look at tomorrow's dashboards. We'll go dive deep into building dashboards and show you around the Power BI world with that live demo, and then we'll do a quick wrap up. Sound good? So lots of good information, and like I said, lots of material. So grab a notebook and pen and paper because we're going to walk through it. So let's start with the problem. So what's with the problem with today's reports? So I think the biggest problem that we're facing is we're not focusing entirely on what matters, right? We have to move away from pure operational reports only, and we have to start looking at business value, customer satisfaction, governance, organizational change management, right? We need to start including those within the reports that we're doing today. So far too many PMO folks and project manager folks jump in and say, hey, you know, what's on budget, what's on time, and really a lot of those iron triangle type of reports. But we have to start looking at business metrics, right? And business value, customer satisfaction. We got to start getting that reports out and getting those reports out alongside with the operational reports. So the operational reports won't go away. That's something we're going to continue to need. But what we need to start doing is bringing in these other 4 major areas. Make sense? Because we're spending just too much time. The first thing we do is we look to those operational reports. So I say stop, right? We have to stop thinking that operational reports will cut it and those dashboards and reports, and that's all we need. We have to start focusing on both business metrics and operational reports. So some of you may have sat through this before, but I call it the balanced PMO. And this is where we take the iron triangle and we wrap it around vision and strategy. We wrap it around customer satisfaction, organizational change management, governance, and business value. Plus, we use this concept as we drive our reporting and our dashboards. Right, so this is when you're building a balanced PMO, you're looking across operational and business, and we apply that to both how we run our organization, how we run our projects, but plus how we look at dashboards and reporting. And so that's a critical step to moving your PMO forward and moving your business forward, really. So let's look at today's dashboards, right? So what do dashboards today look like? Well, here is your typical standard dashboard. You've got your Gantt chart, you've got some budget information, you've got task information, start date, finish date, schedule, actual resources, costs. This is a great dashboard. This is something that you're going to need. You're continually going to need, right? And so these are the types of information that you should be producing. Operational dashboards won't go away, and they can't go away. We still need to execute on our projects, and we need this valuable information. So here's a standard dashboard you should be creating. Very easy to get set up. Here's another one, risk and issue dashboards. You've got risks, open and closed, issues, open and closed. You've got a nice bubble chart on impact versus likelihood or probability. You've got the issue list, what's open, what's closed. How did we resolve it? Again, excellent dashboard for tracking and reporting on project issues and risks. And you're going to need that. That's not going away, right? Regardless of the type of project, you're going to have issues, you're going to have risks, and you're going to want to get that out. And you're going to want visibility to that. Okay. The resource dashboard, you've got a bubble chart, you've got resource assignments, their start date, their finish date, you've got resource costs, overtime rate, actual work, all that. You can slice and dice this resource information any way you want. There's tons and tons of data here, which is awesome. It's exactly what you want, right? So you want to be able to slice and dice the data. This, again, is a great operational report and something that you're going to definitely want as you start and continue to roll out your PMOs and your projects. Okay. And again, another example that Power BI can produce quite easily, and one that you're going to want to get set up and make sure you're going for your organization and for your projects. And then finally, we have this change management, project changes, right? Open, close, rejected. You've got the details in the top right there. You've also got lessons learned. And so this is something I strongly suggest you use throughout the life of the project. So you do course correction. A lot of people get suckered into thinking that it's only actually done at the end of the project, and it's not. It's done throughout the life of the project. But again, very valuable. Another operational dashboard. You can slice and dice and put the information as any way you want. But again, something I strongly suggest you get set up and get going on in your programs and your projects today. Okay, excellent. And so these, like I said, these are all excellent dashboards, but they can't be the only ones we use, right? They just can't. When we have to start applying the balanced PMO concept. And again, this is when we start really looking at governance, organizational change management, business value, customer satisfaction. We start looking at how do we start incorporating these into our day-to-day dashboards and reporting. So what do tomorrow's dashboards look like? Well, clearly they're going to include business metrics, but they're also going to include operational dashboards as well, right? So let's just start with some business metrics. So here's a project customer satisfaction dashboard. You've got a nice bar chart. You've got the data. So what you're seeing here is you're seeing a combination of both a chart, which your executives will love, but you're also seeing the raw data. And I love putting that match up there because some people are graphics people, some people are text people. And when you actually build a dashboard that's got the combination of both, you're actually satisfying both needs. So you'll have a senior LT that really likes graphics, really likes pictures, and that bar chart's going to work perfect for them. But you could also have a senior LT person that wants the details. And I'm sure you guys have experienced that. And so that table down below gives them the raw details. So a dashboard like this really satisfies your graphics people and your text people, and it really does satisfy both needs in one single view. But a project customer satisfaction dashboard is one way of really starting to build out and get some good information, some business value and business metrics that your organization may not have today. Here's your next report, your project governance, right? You've got a line chart there. You've got your governance metrics. This is around cyber attacks, your attacks, your number of attacks per month, the number of prevented. And again, you've got your raw table. And again, supporting the needs of the executives, plus you got your chart. So very, very quickly, you can see your preventions, your attacks and your preventions. And then for folks that need that raw detail, you can see that as well. So you're really providing the best of both worlds. These are standalone. These governance dashboards work absolutely perfect. And it's something that you're going to want to set up as both a standalone. And then what we'll see is that combination of both. Here's your project incident support dashboard. Again, you've got colors, you've got line chart, you got the raw data. So we can keep going over and over and over, depending on the type of data you have, but we can keep building these dashboards and reports and until the cows come home, basically, because we have that ability to pull that in and use this data within Power BI or within any reporting tool. I strongly suggest Power BI. But again, it's really about getting that dashboard and getting that information out there so your executives can see it. Okay? Make sense? And again, I'll field questions at the end, but just want to make sure you're tracking, you understand there's operational dashboards, unbelievable, great. There's business value dashboards and governance and customer satisfaction. They're unbelievably great. And then we'll really talk about merging the two together. So I got a couple projects. So the first project is a Jones Incident Support Project. So the purpose of this project is to reduce response time from 60 minutes to 10. But what's the business value? Why are we doing this? We're going to increase our customer satisfaction, reduce our cost per incident, and increase our incident velocity. So valid project, one that we've seen before in multiple companies. Number two, Jones Cyber Attack Project. Why are we doing this? We're going to reduce the number of cyber attacks. The business value, decrease in labor costs to deal with cyber attacks, increase in productivity, increases employee satisfaction. So I'll just give you a minute to look at those. But again, good two valid projects that can come up in any company, giving you the purpose and the business value to really set the context of why we're doing these. Okay. So when you think about applying the PMO and the balanced PMO concept, well, this is where we're going to merge the two worlds. So we've got the project schedule for the first project. We've got the tasks. We've got the budget information. And again, you can load whatever data you want on there, but it's all about really getting that data. Now, what do we have in the top right? We actually have the incident response time. So we're merging that along with the operational reports. And so think about this. If you're an agile project and you're implementing maybe UI changes, right? And that UI change is going to help the customer agent respond faster. This dashboard is priceless from that perspective because you're going to see every month how the UI changes and how the project that's executing actually impacts the response time. So this is where you merge the two worlds. This is where you take the balanced PMO concept and you go, let's look at this dashboard. We've got the operational stuff, so we're tracking, but we're also tracking the incident response as well. So the balanced PMO merges those two worlds together. That makes sense? And especially, this is so valuable when you think about Agile and you're seeing that actual change happen. On a monthly basis. So you're actually seeing that response time go faster. Or you're saying, hey, we just implemented something, but we're not seeing the change in the response time. So that gives you that real-time update as well. And you're pulling that response time data directly from the system that you're updating. Okay, so the balanced PMO and our operational and business value reports should look something like this as we go forward. Here's the second one, the Jones cyber attacks. Same concept. We've got budget, tasks, issues, changes. And again, you could put whatever you want on there. It doesn't matter. The key is bringing in that cyber attacks and bringing in that data. And again, if this was an agile project, we would be able to see directly how the UI changes or how whatever we're doing to that system to prevent cyber attacks, we can see it real time respond. So I love that about it because we typically go with operational reports or we go with standard business value reports. And now we're actually merging those two worlds. So what do you guys think? Do you guys like that? So let me know in the chat box if you guys think that's a cool idea. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's wonderful. I think it's one of those things that when we start really pulling that data in to be able to get that data in, I think you're going to see some great value, and especially as we start seeing the real-time changes. So again, I'll hold questions to the end, but I really think it's a valuable way of really thinking about how to move your business, how to move your PMO, and how to move the typical reports and dashboards that you're building today. How do you actually start building those? All right, so let's do that. Let's start getting a little bit deeper into building our dashboards, okay? And so what do we do by that? Well, you have to start by getting the data that matters to you, right? So Excel, Oracle, SharePoint, CRM, VSTS, whatever the case may be, right? But it's all about pulling in the data and pulling in the data that your systems have and your companies have to be able to get that and merge that data together. So really connecting to the sources is the first step in understanding the process and getting these reports and dashboards built. Okay. So one of the things that when we focus in the operational or in the project management space, we often use project, we use Excel, we use SharePoint, we use VSTS, right? So it's really, these are the typical types of projects that or software that we use. But again, it doesn't matter. I'm focusing on the project or the project Microsoft versions. But if you talk to generally, these are the software versions that most companies are using from a project management perspective. So connecting to that project management data is critical. Now, when you're pulling the data in, what I call it is steps to shaping the data. There's really 8 main steps to walk you through bringing this data in, okay? And so again, so we're going to collect the data, we're going to prepare the data, consume the data, shape the data, visualize the data, share the data, reconsume, re-refresh, restart the process. Now, I'm not going to drain all that text there. I will give you a minute or two to look at that. But again, very valuable. You have to collect it. You have to bring the data in, consume it, shape it, and visualize it, and then share it. And so the idea here is you bring in the Excel, and we'll walk you through all that, but you bring in the Excel, what data are you actually going to share? How do you want to shape it? How do you want to see it, right? Lots and lots of cases, you're going to do this on your own, especially when you're just getting started, right? However, when you mature and you actually see, your executives and your leadership see value in this, then they'll actually build a team, right? You'll actually get a team. You'll get set up where you'll have Power BI developers and you'll have analysts to start building out a major team, because we can't build our businesses and run our businesses without dashboard and reporting. So to start, you're going to need to know this process inside and out, this 8-step process. But again, as you show value, show great reports, you're going to actually walk through, and basically what you'll see is you'll see a team being built, or you'll want to hire a team that will help you go through this process, right? And it's not easy to start, and you're going to need to spend time. You're going to need to understand how to bring the data in. You're going to have to practice it. You're going to have to play with it, play with Excel, play with this data, and get yourself comfortable. But it's very, very easy once you get going on it. and you can relatively very quickly bring data in. Okay. All right, so let's keep going. Let's keep tackling how we do it. Again, we're going to start with some basic project and project management type of dashboards, and we'll kind of walk you through that process. Okay, you guys still tracking, still with me? Okay, so you can still hear me okay? Everything's good? Awesome. We'll keep putting on the chat box. Or in the chat window, I can certainly see that. And so let me know if there's any issues, but we'll keep going and let's get a little bit more tactical. So I'm going to start with just all Microsoft projects. I want to make it basic. I want to make it simple. You guys are probably already using this stuff today, but let's go from project to Excel, and let's either go to the web version or the desktop version of Power BI. Now, if you're using Project Online, many companies are, thankfully for doing that. It's an awesome product. There's a thing called an OData feed. And so I put a little note there. There's definitely a direct link to either the web version or desktop version. It's called an OData feed. You can go Bing it, go get the information. But basically very simple to get. And when you do that, it's kind of a different process. I'm not going to show you that today. I'll show you the basic project to Excel. But again, you look for OData feed and really pulling that in to both the web version or the desktop version. Okay, but let's pretend we're using project. Most companies are, which is great. So let's use that. We're going to go from our project schedule. We're going to export it using the project file save as, other file types. And then what you're going to do is you're going to see this export wizard, and you want to pick base on table. So base on table, I've highlighted that. And so as you go through that process, basically you will start generating an Excel spreadsheet where you can pull all your data in. Okay, so play with that, go from project to export to based on tables, and get yourself an Excel. I won't walk you through that process, but you get the point. Very simply laid out there. Once you're in Excel, this is where the magic happens, right? Basically, once you're in Excel, you are ready to go directly to the web version or the desktop version. Now, there's tons of YouTube videos. There's tons of material out there to walk you through this. Again, if Power BI's got an amazing YouTube channel, go watch those channels, go get yourself familiar with it. But basically, once you're in Excel, this is when you're ready to go into the products. Okay. And again, I strongly suggest you really, you could work with both versions. I kind of am more partial to the desktop version, and I'll show you that as we continue through. But both versions work great, and both versions will get you set up. Now, here's your Excel data source. Okay, and so you'll see they're all tables, but what I wanted to show you was down below. You've got your resources, your risks, your issues, your change requests, your budget, your lessons learned, your customer satisfaction. This is you pulling all the data from different data sources into Excel. And like I said, once you've got it in Excel, the magic happens, right? And so this is really about getting the data set up, get it in a table format. The easiest is getting it into a table format. Power BI will definitely recognize that a lot better, a lot easier in a table format. But get it into Excel, and then it will suck very nicely into both the desktops and the web versions. So it's really important to kind of get that data in there. But I wanted to show you as Excel is your data source. Okay. All right. So now we've got it in Excel, and now we're ready to go. So let's start. And again, I strongly suggest using the desktop version. It's a free download. I'll show you the site where you can get it. It's a free download, but it's something that you're really going to want to start playing with and get going. But also the web version's free as well, so you can get that going as well. So let's start with the desktop version. So when you're in the desktop version, this is exactly what it looks like. Okay. And so what you'll do, the first thing you'll do is you'll say get data. And then the second thing you'll do is get Excel. You'll select Excel. So get data in Excel. And again, a couple things to look out for here on the bottom right. You're going to see update available. They're constantly doing updates. They're constantly making this product better. So obviously not when you're in the middle of it, but go look for that update. Make sure you're always tracking. You've got the latest version. But you'll do get data, Excel, and what will happen is the next thing comes up, and this is really an unbelievable part of the tool. It's called the table navigator. And so let me show you what happens here. Is you'll get a number of views, a number of queries, but basically you'll be able to select one of these. And as you select on the right-hand side, you see I selected change register. You'll see a sampling of that data. So go through and select all the tools that you want, or sorry, all the tables that you want. Look for your sampling of your data. And maybe you can select and look for the sample, look for example, and then you'll hit load. And basically what comes up is your Power BI dashboard. Now, you're not going to get this summary dashboard. What you're going to get is you're going to get your tables that sit here. You're going to get your visualizations that sit here, okay? And you're going to have a blank screen. I'm going to show you that in a second, but you're going to have a blank screen. However, when you start building this out and you start building all the goodness and all the various reports out, you can actually create these tabs. So the same tabs that you had for your Excel, you could create these tabs again for your dashboard. Again, this is the desktop version. So whatever you do here is wonderful, but it's the desktop version. No one's going to see it. You will eventually have to hit that publish button. So you will need an account for Power BI. You need that anyway for the desktop, but then you'll publish it up to the web version. Of course, you want people to see what you're doing. Okay, so I'm just going to pause there for a second, make sure everyone's tracking, but it's really that simple. And again, when you start, you obviously don't see these project dashboards. You'll see a blank screen, but I'll show you that in a sec. Okay, you guys still doing okay? Excellent. There's a ton of folks on, so I really appreciate everyone joining. And hopefully you're getting great value and actually seeing how you can do it. I strongly suggest you use the desktop version, but the web version works as well. And they're both essentially the same versions, but some people prefer the desktop, some people prefer the web. Either or, this will walk you through what we just covered is loading the data. Now what we want to do is we want to look at how do we build the dashboards based on the web version, okay? So how do you do that? And again, much the same as your desktop version. So let's look at that. Again, you won't have these dashboards. They're just screenshots. You're going to go to powerbi.com. You're going to register for an account. You'll log in and you'll be at a blank screen. I'll show you what that looks like. But basically, the first thing that you're going to do when you're at that blank screen is you're going to say get data. Okay, so both the desktop and the web versions say get data. Then what you'll do is you'll see this screen here and you'll go organization, my organization, services, databases. So this is where you can bring in, and we said earlier, connect to what data that matters. This is where you start bringing in the various reports and the various sources from your organization, okay? And again, lots of exploring. There's lots of tutorials, lots of YouTube videos, but just for where we're at today, we're gonna hit File. You'll then get this local file, right? There's a couple ways to load it in, but you'll find your file in your hard drive, and you'll port it in. And again, the first thing you see is you see these tables. So this is the blank version that you both get for the desktop and that you get for your web version. You get this blank canvas, if you would. So you get the same tables, you get the same visualizations, and then of course you will go down and you will build those various tabs if you need to. Okay, but now you're on the web version. So this is the actual web version. And so when you can build this out and really kind of make some great reports here, but the same reports that you can build on the dashboards. Now, I do want you to be aware of something. Not in every scenario, not in every scenario, but in some scenarios, what will happen is this table navigator doesn't come up. So when you're loading your Excel, your table navigator in some cases doesn't come up. It assumes what tables you want. So here's what I suggest. Don't fight this. Don't go search the internet forever trying to solve this. Literally just use the Power BI desktop version, pull the data in, get your navigator, and then you'll just publish it to the web. The minute you publish it to the web, you get to that same scenario where you're blank screen, you've got all your tables, all your visualizations. So you basically get back to this version here, right? With all your tables, all your visualizations. And again, you can certainly start making all those tabs. So some cases, sometimes that table navigator does not come up, and that's totally fine. All you're going to do is simply use the desktop version, hit the publish, you'll get all your tables, you get the same visualizations, and then you can build as you would in the desktop version. So there's no sense fighting it. There's no sense trying to figure out or screaming at Microsoft or whatever the case may be. Just use the desktop version, get the table navigator, select the tables you want, and pull the data in. Okay? So that makes sense? Yeah. And then you get this view. Of course, you don't get the project summary view. You get a blank canvas, like I've showed you a couple of times. But again, this is the kind of view that you can generate and start generating for your dashboards. Does that make sense? Okay. So what I want to do now is I actually want to get into a quick demo, right? So I'm just going to pause this for a sec, and we're going to pop over to the dashboard. So here is the dashboard. Let me see if you guys can see that okay. Yeah, you can. Perfect. So now we are on a live dashboard. So let me kind of show you around a little bit. So if you look at the dashboard, so here's a dashboard here. And again, when you do those tabs, that was the one thing I definitely wanted to show you. When you did those tabs, they all come up when you're building a dashboard. They come up when you publish them in this kind of tabular or this motion here, where so you basically can scroll up and down. So all those various tabs will land here. Now, dashboards are not reports. And so if you look at the reports, I just created a little webinar version here. You could actually see the various reports here. And across the tabs, we've got this little sharing motion here, but you can pop across and you can actually see all of those. And as you can see, we can flip around, okay? And so this is all that same data that we brought in through Excel. At any one time, you can go pull your filters in. You can see all the various filters. So you can see how these things were generated. And again, it's a very, very simple and easy to use tool, and one that you'll definitely want to get set up. Now, here are the dashboards that we've been showing you through Excel. And here are the dashboards that I had in my screenshots. So here's the Jones project. Here's the resource dashboard. So say you wanted to know how this resource dashboard or this bubble chart was being made. You simply select it, you pull the filters out, and you can see how it's being built. Here's the resource assignments, and you can see the filters, right? Here's the change requests. Here's the customer satisfaction. Here are all the various dashboards. So again, all of this data is available. Once you bring it in through Excel, it becomes a very, very valuable tool, and you can actually start building this stuff out. Now, let's just say you wanted to build your own report. So if you go to workspaces and you go to My Workspace, you can actually see the reports, you can see the workbooks, you can see the data sets, you can see we brought in Excel there. So you hit reports, you hit create, report, and the first thing that it asks you to do is it says, what data sets do you want? So you pull in your data set, you hit create, and now you are at that blank canvas. Okay, so here are all your tables. Here are your visualizations. Here are your pages, so you can create the multiple pages. And like I said, once you save that and you publish that out, that will actually become a dashboard. Okay. So how do you get started? Well, it's really, really simple. And again, I'm not going to do a ton here because the Power BI YouTube channel is unbelievable. But I always start with just selecting a pure table and then selecting your resources. And so say I want resource name. So there's your resource name. Say you want their overtime rate, right? And so there's some rates, overtime work rates, nothing in those ones. Their cost, there's got to be some data there, right? And so basically you create and you've got your first set of resource data. Now, not 100% sexy, not 100% wonderful, that's fine, but it is your starting point. Now, one of the very cool things that you can do here is you basically can you can copy this, right? Duplicate or you duplicate the page, but you can copy this and you can take this data and then you can start changing the visualizations, right? So again, it's really, really, so when you start with a basic visualization, you can start bouncing around and start seeing the visualizations just with the pure data that you already copied. So always start with this blank table, pull the data you in, and then start playing with your visualizations. And then why do you do that? Well, you do that because not all of your executives and your leadership are going to want graphs and charts and tables. Some of them are going to want the pure raw data. So it's nice to kind of have both the raw data, plus you can create another version of that and create that balance between text people and graphics people. Okay. And again, you can just keep building your dashboards. You can create your pages and start building your world out. But think about the balanced PMO, right? Think about bringing that data in and looking at it from an operational perspective, and then bringing it in from a business value perspective. So we have resources here, so that feels operational, but then we have customer satisfaction here, right? And so if we go here from a customer satisfaction, we've got the question and we've got the score. And again, we can make any kind of chart possible, whatever charts, it's this easy to kind of pop around, which is wonderful, or you can just use the pure text. But again, now we've got an operational report and we got a business value report. And that's exactly how I won't say that, but that's exactly how we started to build some of these various dashboards. Okay. And these dashboards here, right? We started to really kind of build those out. And again, if you select on them and you can see the filters. But does that make sense? And so it's really, really important to know that when we're starting to think about good dashboards and reports, it's just so simple to use from a Power BI perspective. This is the web version. Currently on a Mac right now, there's no desktop version for the Mac. Hopefully that will come soon. That's just for Windows users. One of the other things I wanted to show you was how do you get all this started? Well, you simply go to powerbi.com, Microsoft.com, and that will get you what's Power BI, how to download it, how to get it started. And so that basically gets you started, sign up for free. So that's really, really important to kind of get you going. Okay. So I wanted to make sure you saw that. You saw how simple it was, how you create your dashboards, how you create your reports. Here's your get data. Here's your file, right? Again, local file. And very, very simple to pull the data in and get that data. So just wanted to show you that. We'll pop back into Keynote right now. We'll keep going. Make sure everyone can see that okay. Yeah, you can. Excellent. So just give a minute there, and then we'll look at our call to action. So start building your dashboard. Right? Start building your dashboards with that view of both operational and business metrics. And when you do that, you start moving your PMO, your projects, and your business as a whole forward. Start playing with the data, right? Get yourself a free Power BI account. download the desktop version. Start going to Excel to Power BI, right? And this is where that 8-step process, right? That consume, collect, shape, visualize. This is where that process plays a huge role, right? This is where you'll spend that time and you'll go through that and you go, oh, that's what we mean by consume. Oh, that's what we mean by shape, right? Shaping the data is applying filters, not bringing all the data in. Whatever the case may be, there's a nice table there to tell you exactly what that means. But when we say spend the time and understand the process, that's literally moving and understanding those 8 steps. But again, that's not going to be something that you're going to be able to do immediately. That's something that's going to take a little bit of time, so spend that time. Dashboards and reports, really, you have to start thinking of the balanced PMO. You have to start thinking of both operational and business value and how those two worlds combine together. Okay? So let's do a wrap up here. And again, we'll save time for questions here. So as we summarize, get out there, start building your dashboards, right? Start building your balanced PMO dashboards. Download the desktop version, start with Excel. Most companies are using SharePoint, add SharePoint, risk issues, change requests, all that goodness that we have up on SharePoint, start sucking and bringing that data in. The other thing we didn't show you an example of, and that's a little too hard on a computer, but the mobile version. So they've done some amazing things with the dashboards and what you're able to do from a mobile perspective. So start doing that and start looking at the goodness from a mobile. Your executives are going to love seeing those dashboards right on their mobile screens, their iPads, their Surfaces, whatever the case may be. But think about mobile and all the goodness mobile brings to the table. Check out my 2 books, PMO Lifecycle, Building, Running, and Shutting Down. Project Management Communication Tools, both up on Amazon. Both have all this information in a lot of detail. Go check out Power BI, powerbi.microsoft.com. Again, get the desktop version, register yourself for a free account, start playing with it. It's such a great tool, and it's really a tool that you as a PMO, you as a project manager, you're going to need to know this information inside and out. Here's my contact information, BillDowd.publishingllc.com. Find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, that type of thing. Definitely check me out online and connect with me if you haven't already. Like my videos, please subscribe to my channel and make sure you comment as well so I'll know exactly what you're looking for.